Do you think there is a life form outside of this place? You mean an afterlife? No, I mean more like a presence other than us. Extraterrestrial beings? Yeah, something like that. Another form of consciousness, so to say. Actually, I'm quite convinced it is already here, among us. If you pay attention, you might start seeing it in the way things move. One day, as they sat by the shore, watching ducks, they began to notice that birds were quite limited in their postures, that they could either sit or stand, but didn't have the option of laying down. Lately, that's how I tend to feel, limited in my posture. Gently, she held his wrist and said, "Do you think the hummingbird could fly if, only for a split second, it became aware of the impossible ratio between the size of its wings and the weight of its own body?" What do you mean? Never mind. She suffered from insomnia. It was unclear whether she was a cat or a deer. She would spend her nights spotting strange patterns around the house, and when came the hour of twilight, she was restless, a crepuscular spirit. "I will die young," she often uttered. "I'm traveling faster than most of us." Journey used to say there were 4 of her, because on top of being a twin, she was born under the sign of a Gemini. She often complained about a loud sensation in the region of her forehead, like an oversized third eye. "I was a cyclop in a past life. I remember the morning I transitioned into my current body. I witnessed a long flash, a sparkle in slow motion. You know, it's true, you do go through that tunnel when you die." Oh wow, a cyclops staring at a tunnel. That's quite a vision. Well, it felt like I was staring at a sun for so long my brain began to eclipse itself into 2 molten shadows. Something horizontal happened, something soothing, like I was experiencing sunrise and sunset at the same time. Symmetrical twilight slowly drifting into one another. The tunnel might give you the illusion of a straight line, a shortcut, so to say. But this distance is not as the crow flies. It isn't even a distance. It's a stream, a highway of souls. In there you meet other life forms. Some are traveling fast, sometimes in the opposite direction. Some appear slow. Some are stuck, while some are still. Some know the tunnel better than others. Take cats, for example, with their 9 lives, they've learned to master the transitional tunnel. Does that mean they actually die 9 times? Well, it's not really a consecutive thing. You see, we like to imagine a cat living, dying, and being reborn, most of the time under the form of another cat, and eventually dying again, and so on for 9 times. But we don't often consider they might be living their 9 lives simultaneously, when in reality this is exactly why they devote so much time to sleeping. Every time they dream, they are busy filling one of their other lives. They swim across these various existences, and the element of water allows these smooth transitions. While most chosen species stood still in the Ark of Noah, sheltered in hail, all the fish and the whales were being pushed around under the surface of the storming waters. I like to think that it left a mark on them, that they were moved so much they can now live only at a slow pace, in slow motion, so to say. We all have a bit of fish in us. Upon waking, he would tell her about a recurring dream. He stands on a beach, a place he knows. He approaches the water, but somehow he can never reach it. Sometimes it turns into clay. Sometimes waves rise and become a shadowing mass, tall and wide as an army of willows. Sometimes the unbearable feeling of leaving something or someone behind holds him by the shore. He can never reach the water. Water stands for emotions. If you can't access it in your dreams, there is something inside you that you're not addressing, something you're choosing to ignore emotionally. Look, we all hide behind masks and disguises, but keep in mind that the mask one chooses reveals as much as it hides. What if the sea I witness in my dreams is in the sky? Well, it depends. Is it a clear or a cloudy sky? Is it blue? Or is it red? She told him he was a raven, an archetype associated with mystery, alchemy, and the gift of prophecy. The presence of a raven meant something was dying, leaving room for a new birth, the reconciliation of opposites. Come here, I want to tell you something. The crow approached. He was now so near to her that he could see his reflection in her eyes. He started to giggle. I feel so alone, she said. Me too, replied the crow, still looking deep into the eyes of the lioness. He plucked one of his own feathers and offered it to her. Thank you, she said, but I have a phobia of feathers. They remind me of death. But the crow couldn't understand, or rather, didn't want to. So he took another one of his feathers and held it out to the cat. With repulsion, she rejected it, again. Desperate, the crow repeated his gesture on and on, rapidly losing its precious plumage. As it piled, the tuft turned into crystals of salt, and from the crystals rose a mountain. Scales appeared on the skin of the naked bird, soon covering it into a fish. If you were to restart everything, what would you be? A field of blueberries. Man, you're a strange bird. You know, there is a time when birds are actually laying down. It's when they fly.